Welcome. In this lecture, I will shortly explain climate change and what the public climate school is about. NASA scientists have observed that the Earth's surface is warming, and many of the warmest years on record have happened in the past 20 years. This means that there are long-term changes over the entire Earth, with effects as dreadful as rising sea levels, ocean acidification affecting life and water and fisheries, shrinking mountain glaciers, ice melting at a faster rate than ever in Greenland, Antarctica, and the Arctic, changes in flower and plant blooming times. This includes agriculture, extreme events such as droughts and floods. Is this something new? Of course not. 22,000 years ago, we had the most freezing temperatures of the last glacial era. That ice age didn't finish until less than 12,000 years ago, which marked the beginning of the Holocene, the current geological epoch. 60,000 years ago, the Sahara was not a desert, but a steppe covered with grassland. Moreover, the MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, carried out an analysis of the chemical composition of the dust and sand of the Sahara, which has revealed that over the last 240,000 years, the Sahara and North Africa in general has swung between wet and dry climates every more or less 20,000 years. North Africa was once a vast and fertile area of forests and pasture lands that was populated by humans early on. By the 6th millennium BCE, a dramatic warming affecting the whole globe changed North Africa bit by bit into the endless stretches of sand of the Sahara Desert that we know today. Populations moved either westward to Morocco, Spain, beyond, populating Europe, or eastward to the banks of the Nile. The population density competing for the same resource, the water of the Nile River, enabled social development and the consolidation of very powerful administrations centered in the figure of the pharaoh. All of that means that climate change is among the environmental conditions that have forced humanity to settle, farm, migrate, and populate Earth. Another example, in the desert that we find today, by the borders of Iran, Iraq, Syria, Turkey, Lebanon, and Jordan, in these valleys between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, there were highlands, forests, steppes, and savannas rich in vegetation and goats, boars, deer, and foxes when the climate was cooler and humid. We're talking about the cradle civilization, Mesopotamia. By 4000 BCE, this was one of the most productive grain-bearing regions of the world. Sumerians, for instance, in this context, invented the wheel, the sailboat, the chariot, the plow. They invented written cuneiform language, mathematics, astronomy, calendars of 7 days per week and 4 weeks per month, currency, metallurgy. Let me play this animation. Climate change is not new and is normally a natural phenomenon that happens at a pace for which living beings can adapt. However, today the planet is warming much faster than it was over human history. It is happening at such a fast pace that we cannot adapt. Current warming is occurring roughly 10 times faster than the average rate of ice age recovery warming. In fact, the past 5 years have been the warmest 5 years in centuries. This is derived from human actions such as burning fossil fuels like coal and oil, or deforestation, intense urban growth, the population and overuse of our sources of water. CO2 from human activity is increasing more than 250 times faster than it did from natural sources after the last ice age. Scientific irrefutable evidence, such as NASA satellite observations, show that Arctic ice is getting smaller and smaller, thinner and thinner, as you could see in this animation. As a result, the sea level has risen about 15 centimeters in the last 100 years. What can we do? How could we act? Environmental activists, Greta Thunberg and George Monbiot, have helped produce a short film highlighting the need to protect, restore, and use nature to tackle the climate crisis. Let me stop sharing in order to show you this video. Just give me 1 second, please.
This is not a drill. My name is Greta Thunberg. We are living in the beginning of a mass extinction. Our climate is breaking down. Children like me are giving up their education to protest. But we can still fix this. You can still fix this. To survive, we need to stop burning fossil fuels. But this alone will not be enough. Lots of solutions are talked about. But what about a solution that is right in front of us? I'll let my friend George explain.
There is a magic machine that sucks carbon out of the air, costs very little, and builds itself. It's called a tree. A tree is an example of a natural climate solution. Mangroves, peat bogs, jungles, marshes, seabeds, kelp forests, swamps, coral reefs, they take carbon out of the air and lock it away. Nature is a tool we can use to repair our broken climate. These natural climate solutions could make a massive difference.
Pretty cool, right?
But only if we also leave fossil fuels in the ground.
Here's the crazy part. Right now, we are ignoring them. We spend 1,000 times more on global fossil fuel subsidies than on natural-based solutions.
Natural climate solutions get just 2% of all the money used on tackling climate breakdown.
This is your money. It is your taxes and your savings.
Even more crazy, right now when we need nature the most, we're destroying it faster than ever.
Up to 200 species are going extinct every single day.
Much of the Arctic ice is gone. Most of our wild animals have gone. Much of our soil has gone.
So what should we do?
What should you do?
It's simple. We need to protect, restore, and fund. Protect. Tropical forests are being cut down at the rate of 30 football pitches a minute.
Where nature is doing something vital, we must protect it.
Restore. Much of our planet has been damaged.
But nature can regenerate, and we can help ecosystems bounce back.
Fund.
We need to stop funding things that destroy nature and pay for things that help it.
It is that simple. Protect, restore, fund.
This can happen everywhere. Many people have already begun using natural climate solutions. We need to do it on a massive scale.
You can be part of this.
Vote for people who defend nature.
Share this video. Talk about this.
All around the world, there are amazing movements fighting for nature. Join them.
Everything counts. What you do counts.
Part of this initiative is the Fridays for the Future movement, a global campaign of students around the world fighting for climate justice, which started in Stockholm in 2018 when Greta Thunberg began a school strike for climate. The movement reached Munich, and here a group of students from several universities and colleges founded Students for Future Munich. They impulse the public climate school, urging us lecturers to adapt our lectures to the topic of climate change and climate justice. There's a lot of work to be done, and it is urgent. In sub-Saharan Africa, rising food prices as a result of reduced agricultural yields due to droughts and migration is the largest driver of the increase in poverty. In Malawi, for example, households spend on average 63% of their income in food and beverages. In South Asia, countries as Bangladesh and India are among the most vulnerable to natural hazards such as cyclones, floods, and other extreme weather events. This fact exposed people to increased food prices, to health shocks, and many losses because urban planning and infrastructure construction fails to take into account the risks and the most vulnerable population. In Latin America and East Asia, people fall into poverty mainly because of health shocks linked to climate change. Research done by the World Bank shows that up to 132 million people will be pushed into extreme poverty by climate change by 2030. As a response to that, this week's lecture are part of the Public Climate School. I will share with you some interventions, research, and projects linked to the chair of land management for you to see some examples from your field of action in the context of climate change, from resilient strategies for environmental risks such as earthquakes in Mexico, to integrating flood disaster risk reduction in Thailand, to artificial glacier growing to tackle climate change effects and supporting farming in the Himalayas, to an urban agriculture project here in the main campus of Munich. There are many projects also around the world and from many disciplines that could inspire you. I hope you enjoyed the lectures. Thank you very much.